Good morning.
You have a lot of roster moves to get ready for today, so can you just walk us through what you did earlier today, who will be out there, and all of that? I'll turn it over to Rich.
No, I mean, I've never been through a roster development that we went through the last couple of days. So, I mean, we're currently at 77. As far as players available, we have the 6 IR DTRs. I don't know exactly who you specifically want to talk about.
Guys off the COVID list today.
Yeah, they'll come off. The ITR went over last night, actually. Yeah. So, all right, you got Josh Ball, Malik Turner. Say again.
The tight end,
McEwen's DTR. Yeah. Gallimore.
Kelvin Joseph.
Thank you. Just one more.
Kelvin Joseph, too.
Yeah, Kelvin Joseph's at IR DTR. I just came from third down pressure meeting. I'm sorry.
Bernard.
Francis Bernard. Thank you. There you go.
And that covers the 3 guys plus the deep snapper coming back, punter coming back, and
Yeah.
the fullback.
The punter will be coming back probably in 48 hours.
Okay, but deep snapper's back now,
Correct. Yeah.
and the the running back Clement is on the roster now.
Absolutely. Clemens and Bunning.
Can you talk a little bit about what intrigued you about Will Grier and with the 3 quarterbacks on the active and bringing Danucci back? Is that just an acknowledgement of where you are in COVID protocol and how something can wipe you out in a week?
Well, I mean, I think like anything, I think Will McClay and their staff do an excellent job. As you go through training camp, you're really, they're grading tape and they're weighing it against the rest of the, potential prospects around the league. I mean, I think it's pretty universal. So, I'm kind of screwed up on what day it is here. So today's Thursday. So I guess it would have been Tuesday night. So when that whole process of when they come across the wire, staying up throughout the night, and then they had everything ready for us as coaches when we came in. So just going through that process of looking, each position that we felt that we needed to potentially look at. Then going through the quarterback position. It was Will we felt was the best prospect out there. Obviously, remember when he came out of West Virginia, Doug actually coached him in Florida, for a year, Doug Nussmeier. So I had a chance to study him when he was in Carolina 2 years ago. So we felt like through the personnel department and the coaching staff, we felt like we had really good information on him, and we thought he'd be a great fit for us.
Y'all moved Chauncey Golston off the pup. Can you just sort of update where he is and what your game plan is for him?
Well, I don't have the exact timeline, but it was obviously it's sooner than later. It was the decision not to keep him on pup for the 6 weeks. So is exactly when he'll be into the full the full flow of practice. It'll probably be a couple more weeks. But he's getting close, getting better. So we obviously felt that he was better off coming on to the 53 as opposed to being on the pup.
Is Dan Quinn back today?
Yes, Dan's been back since Monday.
You still have Connor and Noah on the COVID list? Is that?
Yeah, they're still on the COVID list.
Just talk
I
about.
apologize. I should have reviewed this before he came in there. I didn't realize we were going to go through all this. I mean, it's been a lot of back and forth last 48 hours.
Just talk about the excitement of today with those guys back and getting ready to.
I mean, it's extremely exciting. I think this is the kickoff to the regular season. I think really, sharing what we talked about in the team meeting this morning. You start a training camp roster, really an off-season roster. You're working towards 90, and then you go through training camp and have a team meeting today where you have 77 players still in-house. 4 of them were new, so 73 of the 90-man roster still part of your operation. I think it speaks volumes about the commitment from the organization to find as many means as possible to keep these guys here. Because in my own personal experience, when we hoisted the Super Bowl trophy and passed out the rings, there were 77 players that it took to win that championship. So I think the irony and the reality the game of football. Plus, you had the 17th game. I mean, it takes a lot of players to be successful in this league, and I'm thrilled that we have our guys. We have the majority of our guys that we've been with. We have second-year guys ready to make that leap. We have an excellent rookie class, so have a strong contingency of veterans. I really like the mix of our roster. 43% of our roster is new from last year. I think that speaks volumes of the direction we're going. So I think we have a lot of growth and development in front of us. We obviously have to pull it together quickly, have a great week of preparation to go get this win in Tampa.
CD and Dak haven't practiced together in a while. What do you do to get them kind of going, or do you think that's an issue at all?
Well, you do everything you can. It's within the realm of our practice structure. If there's extra throwing and so forth, we're in a game plan mode. We put in normal D&D and third down today. This would be like an in-season Wednesday. So, we're in a game plan scheme specific as far as our operation. But I think anytime you have a chance to compete, which we'll do when we get into the next the Sunday, Monday phase of the week of preparation, we'll maybe have a couple competitive periods or at least one each day. Because I do want to get that going to answer your question. So I think it'll definitely help guys that haven't had some reps here of late.
Did you guys have any interest in adding Cam Newton, and if not, why not?
I mean, just sit here and talk about any of the players on our roster. I don't think there's really anything that beneficial that comes out of that for us. But I had a chance to compete against Cam. A chance to watch some of his tape in New England. So I still think he has a ton of football left. But we're very excited about the group that we have.
CD, Kazi, their conditioning, being out. Can you talk about what they did and what kind of shape they're in?
Yeah, I mean, I just think every one of them was specific to how they were dealing with their time off. So there was some personal conditioning that went on the last couple of days. So that was great to see. CD has been in, seeing the trainers and so forth. So we feel like we're on top of that, and these guys are in tune with what they need to do, and we understand the game we're getting ready to get into here, and nobody knows their body better than they do, so we're on top of it.
Are you more and more accepting that you coached last time in 2019 or 18, that now that things are different, that it will never go back to the way it was when you were coaching last in Green Bay?
I hope you're wrong. I mean, it's a great question. I clearly understand why you're asking. Change has always been part of the National Football League. I think if you just look at the roster development and how it all came together here the last 2 days and instill the fluency of what we're dealing with here the next 24 hours, I think it clearly is an illustration of change. Change is constant in this league, but you can't deny the pandemic and the stressors of COVID protocols and all the other things that surround our games, surround our society, is definitely enhanced, and there's more change that we're dealing with. So, but yes, it's different. We're all going through it, and it's frankly, I think as a leader of a football operations and how you structure things, you got to anticipate more, and you just got to be ready to move your feet and have guys ready, because it seems to continue to be a moving target and a challenge.
Looks like a couple of guys in your rookie class that are going to step in and start for you right away. Can you talk about the rookie class overall, just what you expect to get immediately, and what you've seen from some other guys? Are they positioned to work in and help you sooner rather than later this year?
I mean, the biggest thing for a rookie class is to contribute, regardless if it's offense, defense, or special teams. As you project coming out of the roster development, and now you have to get into a weekly planning of who the 48 players are going to be. So, and not only if they're not a part of that initial 48, and even as far as going down to the practice squads, because I had a very similar conversation with each and every one of them. Their expectation is to prepare and grow each week, because there's going to be a time throughout the season that they're going to be called upon. Maybe November, maybe December, and as we all know, those are the biggest games of the year. So we just got to make sure everybody's doing everything they need to do, extra, put the extra time in to make sure they're ready each and every week, because the whole team's got to grow. I mean, that's the only way you're able to win successfully and win with consistency in this league.
Clement's background in special teams, how big of a part of that was adding him in?
I mean, yeah, definitely it's part of it. I mean, it's, you look at the third running back on your active, game day roster. I mean, that's important. You look at Rico last year, how he evolved, is a great comparable. But yeah, it's definitely part of it.
With Grier and having to pick up this offense, as you get going here, how quarterback friendly, or I know it's not easy, but how do you guys kind of speed up a process with him?
Well, I mean, frankly, we broke them out individually. Kellen ran the quarterback meeting, and Doug took Will, in a one-on-one session today because obviously he just got in. So we'll do the best we can. I mean, there's the biggest challenge is always the language. It's mastering the language is what you have to get to. Is where you got to get to. I mean, defense still lines up with 11. We're going to put 11 out there too. So I mean, that, how you handle certain protection adjustments, really what the call is. A lot of it is language and starting point, because there's usually two ways to do things in this league, whether it's run checks or protection checks or how you read a progression. Starting points are important. So I think just giving him clarity on that, and then probably the third part of it is the cadence. He needs to get his cadence in line with Dak's. Just to make sure we have rhythm and the continuity there at the line of scrimmage. So I mean, to me, those are the priorities for Will.
What message, if any, does it send to Cooper Rush when you bring in someone like Will?
Well, I don't look at it as a message to Cooper. I think it's just a message to trying to continue to be competitive and trying to improve your roster. So once again, I think anytime you add someone from the outside, it brings competition, and competition is good. Conflict is good. I mean, it's I think you have to have that at the workplace. You want that type of environment. You want the climate to continue to compete. We're going to do some more competitive drills. Hopefully things stay the same, but if we can stay in a regular season regularity, of how we practice each and every week, we'll line up and have a competitive drill on Wednesday, one on Thursday. We're going to do some drills with the young players this year that I haven't done in probably a decade. So I think anytime you can add competition, it's a benefit to your program.
What are those drills that you haven't done in a decade?
Just have young guy competition drill. Let the cat out of the bag. Just look for it next week in the padded practice. So some inside scoop, yeah. Oh, that's right. I thought they were gone.
Hey, Mike, I think you're allowed 14 padded practices. Yeah. Does this week count towards that? Do you know?
Yeah. You mean this extra here?
Yeah, these 2 days. Does it count?
It's a great question. I think you'd have one padded practice, and because we're technically in the bye week. This is technically our bye week before, and then our regular week 1 starts Sunday. Is my understanding.
Do you know if Dak, in the 3 days off, did he have guys up at his backyard field and working guys out or anything on his own?
I'll let you save a couple questions for Dak. So.
Your expectations of Parsons were obviously high, given where you drafted him, but you don't know about guys and what they can absorb until you work with them. Has he impressed you with his ability to be parts of lots of different packages, and maybe gave you a little more versatility early than you were unsure of if you could do?
Definitely. I think he's absorbed it very well. I mean, to play 3 positions, I think at a young age, I think he's adjusted very nicely. Actually Dan and Micah have a one-on-one meeting, during the game plan segment of it. So, it's kind of like a quarterback meeting because he does have to go in and out of 2 different rooms. So I think he's handled it very well. I mean, just as far as going through the installs through practice, he can see it and go get it. I mean, I think that's obviously his best trait, but he's been very assignment sound.
Will Lyle do anything the next 2 days, or are you going to wait until Sunday to get him going?
Well, we're waiting. So Jim wants to hold off on LC right now. So.
CJ Goodwin, same.
No, he should do a little bit. Yeah.
Donovan Wilson?
I won't do anything today.
How important to you is, especially during these practices, guys building kind of their own energy? We've seen a little bit of Hard Knocks, the coaches talking about, we can't be doing this all the time for you. You guys have to be able to build your own energy. It can't be about having music on and things like that. How important is that for, especially in the practice setting?
I mean, yeah, it's important. It's important for everybody. I mean, everybody has a responsibility to bring good energy to the workplace. I think the most important thing is I've always looked for consistency. I think it's important for people to stay within their personality, be consistent. I mean, it's. I think if you're up and down every day, there's a good chance you're probably going to perform that way. So, I think the biggest thing is, to your point, is probably being aware of it, because energy is important. I think we all can get too technical, too cerebral. I think there's a time and place for that in the daily, operation of maybe meetings and so forth. But the practice field is the most important thing we do each day. We put a tremendous amount of time and energy into how the practice is laid out, the specific drills we're going to do, who's going to get how many reps in each drill, the periods are carded, and get an exact look in the offense and defense. So there's a tremendous amount of time and energy that goes into that. So with that, you want to make sure you get that out of it. So to not have energy during practice is probably is definitely a recipe for it not to go the way you're looking for. So I think that's definitely important. But also, I think it's important to recognize today the regular season starts. Our practices will be different than they were leading up to now. I know just for me personally, I'm in personnel evaluation mode throughout training camp. So and now it's time to win a game. We need to get the things right. The drills need to be right. I got to make sure the veteran players are getting enough reps in those drills. Particularly guys that may not have practiced next to this guy, in a week and so forth. And so, and I think that's why coaches, or I know why, that's why coaches work the hours you do, because you want to make sure you're getting these guys a really good script to get ready. So get ready to win.
Any concern about Lyle being available for the game?
No, I really don't know. I mean, as far as where he is, as far as the physical, Jim's wants to be cautious right now. So, but that could change tomorrow. I mean, they haven't given me a diagnosis as far as he's out a week or something like that. So, I think if he doesn't go today and tomorrow, I assume that he probably have an excellent chance going Sunday.
As Greg Zerline ramps back up,
Yeah.
as more special teams devoted to field goal, or do you not want to overdo him as he's still looking
I mean, he has a kicking regiment, and I think it's it's part of the message today about the veteran players and make sure they get the proper drill work. I think feedback when a guy gets up to 6, 7, we have 9 guys that played 7+ years in this league, so you trust their routines and their rep count and exactly and John has Fossil has a long history with all of our specialists, so no, I trust their regiment.
Are you pleased with the work that Osa did after Neville went out and how he kind of seized that opportunity?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think just the way he played in the preseason speaks for itself, and you just see the way he's been able to roll in there throughout practice and games. So I mean, he's really done an excellent job with his opportunities. So no, I think he's done an excellent job. Very happy with Osa.
Mike, when you think about how much more of an opportunity the team and you had a chance to be together in the preseason this year than last, how do you think that will translate onto the field in terms of just chemistry and communication during the game?
Last year's so hard to compare. I mean, even as something as simple as comparing the GPS workload of a practice last year to this year, it's significantly different. But yeah, I've said it every time you've asked me this question. We just need time together. We need more time together. We need to make sure our time together in season and an in-season work week is extremely efficient. Obviously it's going to be detailed, but the efficiency and it leads to the quality. And we just, we got to establish a little more consistency throughout, our operation, and that'll happen this week because everybody will be practicing together, and so I'm looking forward to a great week of preparation.
Got a lot of positive feedback from your moonwalk and your shirt.
No, I didn't realize I moonwalked. Yeah.
I won the moonwalk and
No, I haven't got any feedback. So, was it good?
Shirt was good.
Okay, yeah.
Nice looking shirt.
Bruce Arians told reporters today that his team was 100% vaccinated. Where's your team?
Close. I'm like
93 a couple weeks ago.
93 a couple weeks ago.
I know they moved closer.
Yeah, I know we had some guys on the second shot and so forth, referred to as in the pipeline. So I don't have the exact number, but we're very close.
Thank you.
Thank you.